Out in the global space now, starting with the UK. We see the labour market cools right there in the UK. Unemployment rate rose in March, according to the data, as employers anticipated the impact of higher employment costs even before the potential impacts there of US President Donald Trump's volatile trade policies. According to the Office for National Statistics, the jobless rate rose to 4.5% in 3 months to March as expected, but up from the 4.4% seen in February. China, also moving on to China now, China has removed a month-long ban preventing local airlines from taking delivery of Boeing planes. According to reports today, just shortly after Beijing and Washington agreed to a de-escalation in their trade war, government officials have become more endearing now to most of these policies now, and we'll see some kind of synergy between both countries. But people are still watching, at this point, hoping there's no switch, and definitely we know the markets will react to that. Then we see the U.S. State Department, they've authorized sale of about $1.4 billion worth of military aircraft and equipment to the United Arab Emirates, coming just ahead of President Donald Trump's visit to the region this week. The principal contractors for the sale will be Boeing and Honeywell. That's trading. Honeywell is trading on NASDAQ and the other on the New York Stock Exchange. Then the United States saying they will cut the low-value de minimis tariff on China shipments. We see further de-escalating a potentially damaging trade war between the world's two largest economies. The tariff relief comes in the wake of Beijing and Washington announcing a truce in their trade spat after weekend talks in Geneva, with both sides agreeing to unwind most of the tariffs imposed on each other's goods since early April. All right, now, in an effort to tackle rising prescription drug prices, the United States has explored the implementation of the most favored nation drug pricing policy. This approach aims to align U.S. drug costs with those of other economically advanced countries where prices are often significantly lower. Let's talk to Amanda Wolverton now. She's a global marketing executive who joins me. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So talk to me about this most favored nation drug pricing policy and how it aims to reduce prescription drug costs in the United States.
The executive order that issued by President Trump aims to reduce the price of drugs, not only for Medicare, Medicaid, as well as potentially covering the commercial sector. There are 4 measures that aiming to reduce the overall cost of drugs. The first one is really benchmarking the drug prices in the United States to other lower cost drug prices in developed countries. For example, Canada, EU, Japan. And the statistics, market research has shown that the prices in United States of drugs are typically 2 to 4 fold higher than those countries. So number one, benchmarking. Number 2 is giving the mandate to the Health and the Human Services, currently headed by Robert Kennedy Jr., to actually negotiate with pharmaceutical and drug manufacturers in 30 days to reduce the cost of drugs. If that doesn't work, they would have 6 months, 180 days to really make that work is the second phase. And then if that doesn't work, basically the Health and the Human Service Agency will have the power to, according to the executive order, to reduce force or rulemaking to reduce the cost of drugs.
Right.
Third,
And definitely, I did see, some pharma stocks, they react to that news yesterday, that most of them dropped. I will see if we'll get some kind of recovery at some point. But which sectors of the pharmaceutical industry are most affected by the implementation of this MFN policy?
I think that the question would be which sectors are not affected. I think the impact will be globally felt by most of the pharmaceutical companies in the United States. For example, that in a couple of days ago, they issued announcement saying that according to their estimate and study, over the next decades, the pharmaceutical companies will suffer about $1 trillion cost, according to loss to this executive measure. As a result, they contended that this would reduce the access to drugs for the patients, as well as slowing down the R&D research for new drugs.
Oh, definitely a huge impact there. We're already seeing most of those stocks react to all of this. But what are the potential legal and political challenges that could arise from the enforcement of this policy?
Just a little bit side notes to the impact to the reprieve of the stock impact, because many of the market analysts argue that they actually 6 months to negotiate the deal, which is very much similar to what happened to the tariff, meaning that there's going to be a lot of room to negotiate and maneuver. So actually, many of the company's stock went up yesterday significantly, about 5 to 6%. Going back to your question about, can you repeat your last question? Sorry.
Yes, most of the impact there, because definitely you've talked about negotiations coming, but there's also that legal side of things. Who's going to win? When it comes to the negotiations.
Yeah, a very good question. I think that they definitely. Similar to historical what happened in 2020, that when in the first term of Trump's presidency, and they challenged Trump, who attempted to issue something similar to this measure, and that was challenged in court, and then court actually blocked the measure because of procedural issues. And then later on, when President Biden went into the White House, and he dropped the issue. So, but this time, I think we would predict at least that the pharmaceutical company would challenge it again in court. But also, I think there may be, in my personal view, less conventional congressional challenges, because actually there's some Democrats are supporting this measure and trying to introduce this in Congress.
All right, definitely. We'll keep watching and see how the negotiations go. But at the end of the day, we know the markets react immediately, but we did see that reprieve there with most of those pharma stocks. Thank you so much, Amanda Wolverton. She's a global marketing executive.
It's never boring here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, that's Business Morning today. Thank you so much for watching, and definitely we'll be back again at 1 p.m. to tell you what's playing out with most of the markets that we track. We'll tell you what's playing out with the stocks, Bitcoin, and most of those commodities. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ladi Williams from me and the team right here at Channels HQs. Bye for now.